Welcome to another episode of Good News Glynn. I'm your host, Avery Brooks. Today we have Bill Fallon and Chief Ebner. Stay tuned, it's all coming up next. Welcome back to Good News Glynn. This is the month of May, and we're so thrilled to have Mr. Bill Fallon, County Manager for Glynn County. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, a lot to talk about because this has been a really busy, I feel like it's been a busy month. School is ending, summer is starting, but you just had the great air show, the Blue Angels, and I'm sure there's just a lot more to talk about. So, I heard you flew with the Blue Angels. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. So the Wednesday before the show, the lead pilot comes in. He's almost like an advance. So he comes in with his crew chief, and they actually get everything set up for the rest of the team, and they come in on that Thursday before the air show.
Okay.
And so yeah, I was fortunate. I was honored to be selected as kind of the community person to go up with them on that Wednesday. And so I spent it was actually about an hour. I was up in the air with Major Scott Lux, and he was the lead pilot that came in ahead of everybody else. And we did pretty much every trick in the book, everything that they were going to do during the show. I got to do it, and it was quite a thrill.
Wow. So that must have been amazing. That was not this year. This was a couple of years back. When was this?
No, this was just this year. So,
This
yep, just last week. And so,
Oh, my goodness.
yep, May 14th of 2025, I actually flew with the Blue Angels. Yeah, but again, it was an honor, tremendous honor. It was tough. I was pretty dizzy the rest of the day. We got up to 7Gs a couple times and flew upside down at 600 miles an hour. And yeah, I actually, I'm not afraid to admit it, but I saw stars once, and then he did put me out for a couple of seconds on one of the tricks. Or one of the maneuvers that we did. So yeah, but it was still you wake up after a couple of seconds and quickly realize where you are.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I don't know if that's more scary or exciting. I don't, for me, it would be scary, but yeah. Wow.
I wasn't about to tap out, but it was rough, and I was happy when we finally landed. Put it that way.
Wow. So they come a few days early and they get set up. They start their practice rounds. Tell us kind of how that goes.
Yeah, so the rest of the team comes in the Thursday before the air show. So their air shows are from March until November. I think they do over 30. I think they actually have 32 shows that they do. Most of them are 2-day, like Saturday, Sundays. Some of them are 1-day, depending on where they are. But ours was a 2-day, the Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, they come in on that Thursday, the rest of the team. They go out that afternoon and they start their practice. And they actually practice on Thursday, and then they practice again on Friday. Up until showtime on Saturday afternoon.
Wow. We were actually outside kind of in an open area and saw them practicing on Friday afternoon. We saw just a little bit, not the full show, but just a little trick here and there. And it was unbelievable. So yeah.
I saw it firsthand. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. But and that was one of the other things that he mentioned too. So all the stuff that we did, the inverted flying, the loops, the rolls, and there's a lot of technical terms for him, but what he pointed out was, imagine how difficult these look to do now up in the air, but imagine if there was another wing that was right next to you, feet apart, how precise they actually are. So those guys are amazing. Their skill level is incredible.
Wow. Yes, Maverick, Top Gun, the whole 9 yards. It reminds me of all that. Yeah, yeah. The loop. I just saw one do a loop, and yeah, that was very exciting. So wow.
Yeah, that was that was probably the first time I got a little dizzy and saw some stars. Didn't quite pass out all the way, but was really close. Was that loop? And so he lets the smoke go, and then we just go in a complete loop. At one point, you're going straight up, and then you come back around and you catch your smoke, and then you keep going. So just incredible. That's all I can say. And again, just an honor to be chosen to go up with it.
Wow, that's so exciting. Well, I'm glad we did this interview. Yeah, that's so exciting. You just did that. You know all about it, and it just happened, and people have been talking about how great it was. So, thank you so much for that update.
Yeah, and then the air show itself. So we, our police, our fire, emergency management, public works. I mean, it was a full county affair as far as the assistance that we were able to provide them. And so FLETC offered some assistance. There was uh, Georgia State Patrol was here. So there was a lot of agencies that were kind of involved that actually helped the air show happen with the promoter last weekend. So. Yeah, it was good. It was a good event for everybody to see, and like you mentioned, there were a lot of people that could see it all over all over the county. You could actually see them not only practicing, but even during the show, a lot of people were able to see them.
Fantastic. What a great opportunity for you and very exciting. But school is letting out. Let's talk about the month of May. School is letting out. Lots of exciting things going on in May leading into summer. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so with school getting out, yeah, like you said, we'll start getting busy. In fact, I think we already have started getting busy, particularly on St. Simon's. And so Beach Patrol has been out there the last couple of weekends. So we've had lifeguards out on the beach the last 2 weekends, plus fire and EMS were out there too, as well as police. So on the weekends anyway. So the Friday of Memorial Day is really when it all starts again for us. And so all the lifeguards will be out. I think for the second year in a row now, we've been able to fill all of our lifeguard positions. And so that's fantastic because years past, we haven't had them all filled. We've had chairs empty, that type of thing on the beach, even at the pools as well. So we have enough staff this summer. We're pretty excited about that. But we also have we also going to have the police out there a little bit more than we've had out in the last couple of years, which would be good. And so just to, help the lifeguards out, but help make sure that everybody has a great time while they're out there. So big things coming up on the beach this coming summer.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, anything else you want to touch on? I know we're going to also speak with Chief Ebner. So I know he's got probably a lot to say and new things. And
yeah, sure. No, I'm glad. I'll talk a little bit. I'll introduce him in a second. There's actually been a lot going on in May as well. We had our quarterly execution reviews on our SPLOST projects, which went very well. We actually did them at night. And so doing them at night, we thought we'd get a few more people actually there in person, but we didn't. I think that people have seen the overwhelming transparency of all our projects and the fact that our projects are getting done. And so we've had a lot that have just got completed. We've had more that are coming up. And then we have some other big projects that are coming up as well. So going back to the beach, that Coast Guard Beach project is out to bid now. So hopefully we get some bids back. I think we have them back by early June, and then hope to have that award made by July so they can actually get started with construction toward the end of this summer season.
Okay, great. Yes, very excited about that. Speaking of that, for some reason, just popped into my mind. Has your office or the county been affected by any of the federal cuts, DOGE, and all of that? Are people losing their jobs, or is it just sort of everything's fine with the county?
Yeah, we really haven't been affected. Well, I shouldn't say that. Most of our grants are state grants. We do have some that are federal. We actually still. We did receive $3.5 million for a new radio system for public for our first responders. So that's police, fire, sheriff's office, and a few other agencies as well. So that was huge. That's $3.5 million towards that project, which is good. So we're executing on that one before that gets pulled back. But we have that money, which is good. But we've asked for we actually had a couple of projects that we were hoping to get some federal funding on to help us. Just didn't make the earmarks this past year for fiscal year 26, which is coming up in July. Actually, for fiscal year 25, because they actually just passed the fiscal year 25 budget, which is going on now through the end of June. And so we will be able to hopefully continue moving forward with our funding. A lot of it comes from the state. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, though, if we have some storms because of FEMA and the uncertainty around FEMA. But we'll cross that bridge when we have to. But again, the state has been great. Federal government has been great. So far, really not been affected by DOGE or anything else with the new administration.
Good. Yeah, that's really good to hear. I know some of the cities, people have known people losing their jobs in cities relating to DOGE and federal funding. So good news with the county, that it comes more from the state. So Good to hear. So you can continue with your projects and no delays, right?
No, that's right. In fact, so yeah, we're good. Staffing wise, I just wanted to mention too that our assistant county manager, John Gentry, has taken a position with Hall County. And so it's a county that's a little bit bigger. It's back home for him. He's been here 2.5 years, done an outstanding job, really been a tremendous leader for Glynn County. He's really been able to help get us over the finish line with a few projects. He's also kind of really dove in head first when it comes to planning and ordinances. Everything related to community development, engineering, public works. He's really been an asset for us. And plus, he's actually helped us with his military experience. He's helped us in executing and operating during storms, which has really been a benefit. But he wants to get closer to home, back to where his kids and in-laws are from. So we wish him the best, and we appreciate all he's done for Glynn County.
Excellent. Yes, absolutely. Wish him the best. Yes. So now you've got another position to fill.
Oh yeah, that's right. But hey, we this time we might look internally too, because one of my philosophies is really to kind of to pick your team, but then build your bench. And part of building that bench is really setting up people for the next step. And so I think we have some good internal candidates that could be competitive, and we'll see where that goes. If we have somebody that internally that is selected, great. If not, we'll open it back up nationwide, see what we can attract.
Excellent. Yeah, and it's always good to get people who are already rooted here so that they may stay longer and not want to leave and go back home. That might be a benefit as well.
Yeah, and that really is. We got some great internal staff here now. That's one of my philosophies, as I mentioned in previous shows. Really developing that bench, trying to create that succession planning for everything here, Glynn County. And so I think we got some good internal candidates to take a look at first. If not, we'll open it up nationwide and see what we get to attract some talent that way as well. So we got some ideas moving forward.
Good. Yes. And I was saying earlier, sometimes it's nice to get somebody who's internal, already rooted in the community, so that they have more of a reason to stay, rather than maybe somebody who would be transitional and only be here for a little while. So yes, good luck with your search.
Yeah, that's a great point, because when I came in, I got here 3 years ago. And so a lot of the new department heads that came in, some were internal, but for the most part, we brought people in from the outside. So I think, but part two of that, phase two of that was, like I said, just trying to develop people here internally. And like I said, I think we've done that. So I think we have some good options to at least take a look at first.
Yes, sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Okay, anything else for May?
Yeah, we got Memorial Day coming up. We already talked about the beach, but there's a couple of different things that are going on. So at 11 o'clock here at Veterans Memorial Park, which is on Newcastle, right next to the Pate Building, there's a ceremony at 11. And then, of course, there's Taps at Twilight. That's going to be happening Monday night down at the casino, so down at Neptune Park. So we're looking forward to that. May was also, so I'm going to lead into talking a little bit about the police department as well, and then turn it over to Chief Ebner. But May was Law Enforcement Memorial Month. So we actually sent 4 officers up to DC this year to attend the law enforcement vigil, the candlelight vigil that they have. And that is attended by police departments and sheriff's offices and just law enforcement in general from around the country. A lot of people go to DC for the memorial that they have the third week in May. And so we were fortunate to send some people up there this year. They had they really were able to see just the firsthand the impact that memorial has on law enforcement. So we were happy about that. We also participated in the first responders luncheon that the Chamber of Commerce hosted with plenty of sponsors. And so we saw actually Officer Bill Duggan get an award for his life-saving efforts for a lady that was actually in a burning house, which is outstanding. Chief Ebner actually got a merit award for his leadership, and then Sheriff Jump got the Lifetime Achievement Award. So it was a great day and some great awardees that were honored that day. So we're happy to contribute to that as well.
That's wonderful. Yes. Oh my goodness. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And then the last, coming up in June, I just want to throw it out there one more time. So the program that we have, Friday Night Hoops, is starting in June. So we're trying to we had 40 to 60 kids that came out every Friday night last summer. We're trying to get that up to 100. So we'll hopefully get out to some of these kids. It's 6th grade through 11th grade. 6th, 7th, and 8th are from 6 to 8 on Fridays. And then 9, 10, and 11 graders are from 8 to 10, boys and girls. It's free. They get food. it's really a lot of fun, and it gives kids something to do over the summer. So we're looking forward to getting that spun back up again.
Yes, I know that was a big success last year, and looking forward to it again this year. We'll put a flyer on at the end of the show. Yes, at the end of the show, it'll, alert everybody to that.
Yeah, please do. And it's a rec program, so anybody can just go online and sign up at our Parks and Rec page, and that's easy. Or they can sign up there that night. It doesn't matter. We want more kids to come out this year, and got a lot of volunteers from the police department to the fire department to public works to Parks and Recs, obviously. But a lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people have a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a fantastic event, community event. That's amazing. So anything else you want to touch on for May?
No, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Ebner. He can talk again, because May is essentially there's a lot that goes on in May. There was Boater Safety Week. There was EMS Memorial Week or Appreciation Week as well. But traditionally, May has been law enforcement, kind of the Appreciation and Memorial Month, actually. A lot of events go on throughout the month. FLETC has a big event that they had a couple of weeks ago in May, where they honored some folks that lost their lives from one of the agencies where they actually went through a basic training program. So it's a tough one, but like I said, we're making some great strides with the police department. I don't want to steal any of Chief Ebner's thunder, but he's doing a great job, as was recognized at with his award that he got at the Chambers Awards luncheon last week. So we appreciate him, appreciate all the work that he's doing.
Yes, thank you so much. That's a great introduction. We'll be sure to ask him about the award, and sounds like it was well deserved, and what a wonderful tribute to him. So congratulations to him. A couple more things before we go. Some of the questions that I get are sidewalks, just community questions, and maybe we could have somebody on sometime who could discuss when the projects happen, the roundabouts, or even when they're not happening. How do we make it a more walkable community? We've got the new, this is just a little bit of island stuff, but like the new Sea Island dorm, if you will. How are those people getting around? Are there more sidewalks in order for them to walk safely to and from? And then also, we've got a beautiful sidewalk from Lawrence Road all the way down on the east side of Frederica Road. And so what about putting one on the west side in certain areas? For example, from the Glen Haven to like that shopping center at CVS. I'm seeing people try to walk through there, try to bike. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are there plans in the future for more sidewalks?
Yes, in fact, that's part of that review that we're doing for Frederica Road from the Demery and Frederica roundabout right there by Southern Soil all the way out to Lawrence Road. So that review is going to look at traffic there, but it's also looking at accessibility for people that walking or riding their bikes or whatever. And so I think you'll be happy to see there's we actually just talked about it today, some of the recommendations that are starting to come up, and that's based on a lot of input from the residents that we've seen. And we're going to have another public meeting in early June as well. Look for that to be announced, but we want to get more ideas from the public, because that is one of the things. That sidewalk is great, and it's on the east side of Frederica, pretty much the whole length of Frederica. Yeah. So whether or not we put sidewalks in on the west side or just more connections from the west side to the east side at intersections, or maybe at future roundabouts, or just adding crosswalks, that's all part of what we're looking at. So those are some of probably the low hanging fruit that we can probably get done sooner than improving the traffic and the roads, is improving some of those sidewalks and the accessibility like you talked about. So yeah, we haven't lost sight of it. We know it's something that people want to see, and we're hoping to have some solutions here in the near future.
Okay, great. Thank you. Just wanted to bring that up, and thank you for your time today. We appreciate it as always. A lot going on in May and coming up in June. So thank you for all of those updates, and we look forward to Chief Ebner coming up next.
All right, great. Thanks, Avery.
Thank you. Welcome to Good News Glynn. I'm here with Chief Scott Ebner, and we are thrilled to have you today. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So let's jump right into it. We're in the month of May, finishing up spring, going into summer. It's a busy time for your department. Tell me about that.
It is. May is always considered a law enforcement month. October is usually considered for fire and EMS. So this month we did have 4 of our officers we sent to Washington, D.C. for Police Week, so they just returned. They had a great time, and it's something to see if you've never been there. I've been there 9 times myself, and it's an experience.
That is so exciting. Yes, I want to talk about that. So tell us a little bit. May is Police Appreciation Week, I guess, or a month. What's the official title?
Yeah, so the Police Week and Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, some people call it many different things. President Kennedy was the one who recognized Police Week the week following Mother's Day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's where it started, and of course that evolved into the month of May for appreciation of law enforcement and public service in general. We try and recognize everyone, put them all together. But yes, and that's when the names of fallen officers from the previous year are added to the memorial up in Washington, D.C. And we send, ever since I've been here, we've been sending officers every year. And this year we sent 4, and they were up there for the candlelight vigil and a few other days that they're up there as well.
What a wonderful experience and a very special opportunity. That's so good to hear. Yeah, I know it must have been a very special ceremony. So, wow. Also tell us, you have just recently been recognized. You have gotten an award. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's, my grandfather taught me, it shouldn't be about me. It's about, other people, to be humble. And so I don't see it as an award for myself. I see it for all the people I work with. Without it, anything that I've tried to do since I've been here wouldn't have worked. So the county manager surprised me when I was told by him. He called me up and said that you're going to be receiving this award through the Chamber of Commerce for merit. And I was a little first caught off guard, and I said, I don't want the award. I don't see myself as an award recipient, but I understand the reason behind it. And like I said, it's everyone that I work with who's really receiving the award. So we've done quite a few things in a little over 2 years that I've been here. Well, June will be 2 years with the police department, and March was 2 years with the county. I started as public safety director, if you recall, and then brought over as the police chief as well. Okay. And in that time frame, I mean, we've turned the corner. We're doing a lot of good things. Our recruitment is really way up. We're just pushed over 100 sworn members now, so 100 officers. We're just over that now, and we're doing really well. And we've revamped our background process, how we hire, how we test. We're really keeping our standards, what I would say, way up here. To give you an example, we had nearly 300 applicants in 2024, and we only hired 5.5%.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you're being selective.
Absolutely. I mean, selective is a good way of putting it, but also just making sure that we meet those standards. An in-depth background investigation, looking at social media, every place that they live, where they worked, if they worked in a government setting, internal affairs files from wherever they worked, if there are any. So I think it's important to realize that some of these things weren't being done before, at least what I discovered when I had to let some people go, and I would look into their background, and I was somewhat surprised, but in this day and age, nothing should surprise us. So I'm responsible for everything from when I got here moving forward, and we've really set the stage up well, and we're continuing to do that. You've probably seen our recruitment campaign, whether you're driving up 95, we have 2 billboards. We're on the radio, we're utilizing social media and print. So there's a lot of ways we're getting our message out there, but most importantly, we're getting it out there through word of mouth. We've hired a few officers that have just left the military, and we've had referrals for other ones. I just interviewed 2 individuals that were just leaving the military last week, and they did very well in the interview process. So we'll see where that goes from here, but we're doing really well. Really well. I'm happy how things are going.
Yes, it sounds wonderful. You've really set some new standards, meeting the high expectations. somebody with a military background, I would think would be a great candidate for law enforcement.
And they are. I mean, it depends what they do in the military, but yes,
Mhm.
generally with that experience, it's very helpful. We actually have 3 new recruits that graduate the academy in Savannah Friday this week.
Wow.
So they'll be going up
Okay.
there for their graduation, and they'll enter into our FTO program. And the next group of applicants that we're sending to the academy will be in the beginning of July. July 7th is a tentative date that I've been told. And right now we're hovering right around 8 applicants that we're going to be sending to that academy class.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is exciting. You know, I think all the standards have gone up. I feel like there are a lot of, you know, even if you rent a place or you're checking backgrounds, it's kind of, I think, not just your department or law enforcement. I think everybody's had to kind of step up their game when it comes to recruiting, but also recruiting the right people and checking even things like social media, background checks, etc. It's just a different world now.
No, and that's absolutely correct. It is probably a best way of putting it. It is different, but we just have to be very thorough. We want to make sure that anyone that's working here represents the county and the community with the highest standards, and that's how we're going to ensure that we do that.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the air show. Just if you want to tell us how that went and from your law enforcement perspective, and then anything else you want to share with us about what's going on in your department.
Yeah, it actually went really well. I've been involved in some big, I guess, events in my career, whether it was the Super Bowl in New Jersey, where I worked with the state police at the Meadowlands, the air show in Atlantic City. This was an air show that we were expecting a large group of people. We had 2 days that we knew we were going to have visitors at the actual airfield at the airport, which was Saturday and Sunday. And the event, from a safety and professional standpoint, went very well. So we had a few agencies that were assisting the Glynn County Police Department. We had the Glynn County EMA that was there, Glynn County Fire Rescue. The Department of Natural Resources was there, and we also had Insurance Commission send a few of their own agents as well. So it was, and then of course the airport staff and the event staff. So it went very well. There were some minor incidents because it was hot, so we did have some people that maybe the heat got to them a little bit, needed to drink a little bit more water. But all in all, it was a safe and very family-friendly oriented, I would say, event. And I was glad the way it went down and the experience that everyone had. Unfortunately, it was cut short on Sunday because of the weather. I know quite a few people were disappointed because they wanted to see the F-22s and the Blue Angels, but that's when the weather just came in right before they were going to go, and that's unfortunate.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Well, we were talking about how even the practice rounds, you could see some before the actual show on Saturday and Sunday. You could look up if you were out and about. Thursday, I think I saw some things, practice rounds going on, or Friday afternoon. Anyway, great show. Congratulations. I'm glad it went well.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people that we saw on many of the roadways and thoroughfares that were parked in certain areas that made the day of it for themselves and didn't go to the actual airport, and they had a nice time, and we didn't have any issues. There was some traffic congestion leaving on Saturday that was, it took us a little bit of time to get them moving, but when we did it safely, we did it effectively, and there were no accidents. So that was a good thing, and no injuries.
Excellent. Excellent. Great to hear. Yes. Another successful event here in Glynn County.
Yes, it was.
Yes. So tell us anything else you'd like to touch on for anything in your department or anything going on in May or June.
May and June. I mean, our next big event that we'll be gearing up for will be July 4th down at the casino.
Yes.
We always want to be prepared for that, and we've already been planning for that. So that's the next event that I would say public safety with police and fire and EMS that will be out in force out there to make sure that that's a safe event for everyone.
Yeah.
And again, we always the challenge there is a large number of people are coming into a confined area. And then after the fireworks end, at the same time, everyone wants to get home, and working that traffic out of there is efficiently and safely is always the biggest challenge.
Yes.
So we refined that a little bit each in the last 2 years that I've been here. So we'll continue to do that.
Okay. Excellent. Yes.
Like I said, the graduation is the big thing that we have this week for our officers. But the one thing I wanted to mention is that in Georgia, new officers training used to be 10 weeks. The state law has changed that, and now it's 20 weeks. So it's a much longer time frame that these new recruits go to the academy for.
Wow. Twice as long. Yes. Wow.
Yes.
Do you see these? Do you see this making a difference? The extra training.
Well, we'll find out with this group of 3, and then the next group going in of 8. We'll see, because they are receiving more training. They're supposed to come out of the academy. They'll have their radar and LiDAR certification for speed detection, and some other training that, of course, adds into that 10 weeks. So yes, we're expecting a more well-trained and more comprehensive officer when they graduate.
Excellent. Good to know. Yes.
Yeah.
Is this happening? Like, were you saying it's statewide, countywide, or like national, that everybody's getting more training, or is it just here?
This is a statewide. So prior to this, 10 weeks out of all 50 states, Georgia was dead last when it came to basic training for officers.
Ooh.
This will put us about middle of the road. The high end now for training we're seeing throughout the country is around 26, 27 weeks, and this will put us around 20 for Georgia. And it costs money for us to send officers to training. For one, if it's further away, we have to put them up in a hotel. We have to house them. We have to feed them. We have to pay their salary and their benefits while they're going through all this training. If it's closer here, like the next class is supposed to go in July 7th, I was told, and that might be here down in Camden, which means we won't have to put them up in a hotel then. And they can go to and from every day from the training. But they're up in Savannah now, where they're going to graduate from the academy Friday.
That's very exciting. Yes. Do you have grants, statewide grants that can help with that, fund this extra training, or is it just, you just have to come up?
The training itself isn't the expensive part. That's relatively affordable, the way it's done through Chipstick and through the state. It's actually when we have to put them in a hotel, that's something that's on our end that we have to take care of. And then of course their salary and their benefits while they're in training.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about for the federal level, has DOGE or any of the federal cuts affected the county or your department? And Mr. Fallon was saying not really, because a lot of your, obviously local and then tax coming from the local and state. So not really, but I was just going to ask you if you had noticed any effects.
No, none whatsoever on us at this local and state.
Good.
Which is a good thing. Yes.
Yes. So you can continue with your programs. Great. Okay. What else do you have?
Well, one of the things I think the public is maybe not aware of is last year, right before the end of the year, we transitioned to a new firearm for all our officers. So our firearm was approximately 7 years old, our previous one. So we transitioned not only to a new Glock. We had a Glock before, a 9mm handgun. We went to a newer model, 9mm. It's called the Model 45. But we also went to the digital optical sight. So there's, like you called it, some people say the red dot, which really helps officers with their accuracy. And we've seen an increase in the accuracy in our officers just from the first qualification that they did. We did a 2-day training course, 16 hours for them to transition to this, and then they've qualified already in this year. And we've seen a good increase in their accuracy and their efficiency, which is, it only helps the officers and, of course, makes the community safer.
Yes, I was going to say, what's the difference between the two? But you're saying it's sort of that digital red dot accuracy is the difference with these new ones.
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to see that at Mission Impossible, the new the new movie coming out?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I would like to see it. I've seen the rest of them. They're usually good entertainment, but they'll probably have something far more advanced than just a red dot, I would think, on a firearm. In that
right. Okay, that's good to know. That's interesting. I have not heard that, so that is definitely something new. But I'm glad.
One of the last things that I wanted to update you on is that our license plate reader cameras that you'll see slowly going out in the community. We should have a total of 87 of them when we're fully implemented. Right now, we have 17 that are online. and we're going through the permitting process now with the state. And Flock is the manufacturing company that we went with, and they're assisting us with the permitting phase, and we're implementing them throughout the county. So, but I wanted to let your viewers know exactly what those cameras can and can't do. So the cameras are not designed for speeding, for going through a red light. They don't have anything to do with traffic, and they're not a movie camera or taking, I guess you would say, moving images. It takes still photos of the vehicle as it passes, of the license plate and the actual vehicle itself from the back of the vehicle. And we use that, and we can put that into the Flock database and it hooks up nationally into the state. So GCIC is the state and NCIC is nationally. If a vehicle is, wanted, meaning it's stolen or it's used in possibly an Amber Alert or a child abduction, it could be entered in there, and we'll know immediately if it goes through past one of our cameras. It alerts us. It alerts all our officers.
Wow, that's extremely innovative and helpful, and that's wonderful news.
Yeah, to give you an example, when the former President Trump, because he was running for office, when he was shot at the golf course in Florida, the vehicle, they had a description of it and a license plate. I believe it was, I don't know if it was an entire license plate or partial one, and they were able to track that because they put that information into their system, license plate reader system, as it was traveling up 95, and that's how they were able to locate it.
Wow! Oh my gosh, I did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
how lucky we are that we have that here. Then that's great news.
Yes.
Wonderful. So yeah, just to be clear, you might want to say it again. It does not check speeding. It is going to take a picture of your license plate. Correct?
It has absolutely to do with any traffic violation, speeding, going through a red light. If you fail to stop at a stop sign, it doesn't capture that. It doesn't have that capability. It doesn't work like that.
Good, because I guess that's what people think, and maybe they see an officer with that. They might assume.
Well, these are fixed. These are fixed poles. You'll see it'll have. Usually, it has a solar box at the top, like 2 feet by 2 feet.
Yes, I've
that
seen
you
them.
see. So
Where are they? We're just random places?
We're not publicizing where we put them. We've strategically placed them throughout the county, these first 87, and hopefully as we grow this program, we'll be able to put more in different places based on data and need.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for letting us know about that. Good news. That's good news. That's what this show is all about, right? And that is definitely good news. So
it is good news. It is. It's helped already, not only us, but other agencies that we shared it with locally, including the city police department.
Wow. Okay. I was going to ask, have you noticed, since these have been put into place, some things that they've captured that have been good? I mean, you don't have to be specific, but that you've seen evidence that they are working and helping.
Of course, yes. We've seen vehicles that we were looking for, or possible suspects that are left the scene of a crime in a certain time frame, that we could branch out and look at what we have, and then work backwards and in our investigation to determine if it's relevant or not.
That's excellent. Yes. Well, it sounds like a lot of these shows lately have been all about updating us on new technology and how this new technology is helping the department, but also obviously helping the citizens. So, in the community. So this is just another example of that innovative technology coming to Glynn County in your department to really help everybody, right?
It is. It's very helpful. And we've also utilized our drones that we have. We have several drones. The police department, Glynn County Police Department, and the Glynn County Fire Rescue has drones as well, that we've been able to use to not only locate suspects from crimes, but also people that maybe have been reported missing or are in distress. We had one recently out off of Blythe Island that was possibly out in the water, and we wanted to make sure where we could see them, where they're at, so we could direct resources to help them.
Wow, that's excellent. Would that same drone technology be helpful, for example, at the Coast Guard, if there's trouble in the water, somebody's having an issue at Gould's Inlet, for example? Could that be a technology that could be used there?
There's some larger drones now that can fly out quickly, carrying either a life preserver or some kind of life-saving apparatus that at least the the person in distress would have at their disposal if we could drop it to them until we could get personnel to them in person. So there is that technology, absolutely.
Right. Or just to locate where they are. You're searching, can't find them, and it somehow locates where they are. Yes. Excellent. Well, this is good news. I guess we should expect it, right? In 2025, some of these new things are in place, and not just something we talk about, but it's actually here in your department and, countywide in the community. This is excellent news.
It is. And there's some other programs that we've looked into with technology that we're going to be hopefully fortunate enough with the new budget that we'll be able to continue with our investigative skills, whether there's one platform we're looking at now, a software that will help our detectives search social media at a much faster and efficient manner than if you and I and the detectives just sat there manually. We could either enter an image or a name or whatever that we feel is the nexus to what we're investigating, and then it kind of branches out like a spider web and connects the dots and helps us see a broader picture more quickly.
Wow, that is interesting. This is like I said, something in the movies. You might watch a spy movie and see all this, but it's actually here in Glynn County. So that's super cool. Yes, and life saving as well. Of course,
it will definitely help us with our investigations. It could help with many types of cases, especially if we're looking for missing people or individuals or juveniles. There's many ways that we could search, and these are open source social media. These aren't, lockdown systems. This is just it's out there for anyone to look at.
Wow. Yes. It's just a whole new world. The tools that you have to use daily just to perform your job now are so different, I'm sure, than, 30 years ago.
It certainly is.
Yes. Okay. Well, anything else before we wrap it up?
No, that's it. I'm just happy to be here, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak with you and your viewers of what we're working on. And we're eager and excited. We just keep trying to make this community the safest we can.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, we're thrilled for the information. It's all good news, and we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. See you next time.
Okay. Look forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, thanks again, Avery. May's a busy month, has been so far, and it's going to continue to be a busy month. We've got Memorial Day and a lot of activities coming up, beach opening up. But another thing is we talk about it several times. There's a lot that goes on over at Blythe Island Regional Park as well. So there's a lot of activity that goes on there over the Memorial Day weekend and beyond. And so just it's a great time of year in the Golden Isles. We're looking forward to it, and then we got a busy June too. So we're looking forward to that as well. So again, appreciate you having us on, and we'll see you in June.
Okay. Thank you so much. See you then.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. That's it for this episode of Good News Glynn. Stay tuned for more Golden Isles TV coming up next.